adorable jellyfish, it's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. If you hear really random, obscure noises in the background of this video, it's because we have the window open because it's super hot in here, and like, I think people are skateboarding. I don't really know. I'm assuming that's what they're doing. It sounds like skateboards. I don't really know, or longboards or whatever. I don't know.
It is.
It is skateboards? Okay, cool. I don't know. People do that on this campus like all the time. Alright, cool. So today I have a real talk for you guys talking about my experience playing Magic the other night, and also I'm going to talk to you guys about some modern updates that I had with Grixis, which is really perfect timing because I was thinking about this deck like before, like right before I was filming this video, so it's like very like fresh in my head and I have a lot of stuff to say about like what I'm doing with this deck and things like that. So, I first want to talk to you guys about my experience playing Magic last night. I had one of the best nights, like the other night, just, not even just in Magic, but just in a very long time. Like, I had a great night playing Magic. So, I go with my friend Lee to play, Magic. It's like Wednesday night Magic, like, it's like an FNM, like, type thing, usually paired down to, like, the top 3. Last night we actually had quite a bit of people. We had, like, 20 people or something, which is quite a lot, like, for, like, this small store that I went to. And I really like playing at this one card store. Like, I'm a person who, I love my local game store. Like, that is like my place. And I was even talking to someone about like playing at I'm just like, I like playing at my local game store. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are like this, so I'm very true to that, but I do really like going to this other store. This has become like one of my favorite card stores to go to. The owner is super nice. We have had great conversations with him, and he's really, really nice. So I'm having a really, so round 1 I got a bye, and I ended up watching my friend Lee's game, and he was actually playing Allies, and Allies has like been popping up like recently. Like, seriously, out of like the 20 players there, like 3 people were playing Allies. I was like really surprised about that. So I think because of Battle for Zendikar, like with the new Allies and stuff, people are just, they're getting a lot of attention. So I was watching his game. Second round I played against, who did I play against second round? Did I play against Allies? I think I played against Allies second round, actually, which was another person, and my opponent was so nice. He was such a great guy. Like, we had like a really nice conversation like as we were playing, and like I'm kind of like a mix between like I'm serious, but I'm also like kind of relaxed when I'm playing, and so like I don't mind like joking around with my opponent and like talking. I'm not gonna be like super stiff and be like, okay cool, we're gonna play Magic now. Like, I think it totally depends on the environment. I think it depends on my opponent, but like I like being like talkative, and I like talking to my opponent, like having good conversations. So my opponent was super, super nice, and like I love it when I'm just playing against someone and I can just be like all casual. Like if I'm playing against Twin, I'm just like, alright cool, you're gonna twin combo me, like, you know, I don't mind doing things like that. So I'm playing against him, and you know, he ends up winning, so I was 1-1 at that point. So then I'm sitting with him and my friend Lee, and I look over and I'm talking to the guy that I just played last round, and I was like, are those 2 people over there like that are playing, are they like famous Magic players? Like, are they like like names well known? And he was like, yeah, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but he was like, yeah, that's Kevin Jones. And I was like, because I was looking at him because I had seen him at a modern IQ that I went to, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and I'm like, wow, like that's so interesting. So then game 3, and I could actually totally be messing up the order of my rounds, and if I am, I'm really, no, I don't think I'm messing up the order. Okay, so yeah, so round 3 I ended up playing against Kevin Jones. And I was like kind of nervous because I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm playing against like a pro player, like someone who's, you know, done like cool Magic things that I've never done before. So I was pretty nervous about it. And he ends up being a really nice guy. He looks at me and he's like, did I see you at the Modern IQ like about a month and a half ago? And I'm so surprised because I'm like, okay, first off, there was like 100 people at that Modern IQ. We did not even have a conversation. Like, I glanced at him and like he showed up and he was playing Standard. He actually wasn't playing in the Modern IQ. And like, I'm looking over and I was like, oh wow, like that's Kevin Jones. I was like, oh, like, I didn't say anything, like, we never talked, we never looked at each other, and, like, he somehow managed to remember my face. And, like, given, like, I understand that, like, you know, there are not a lot of females who play Magic, so, like, I understand, but, like, I didn't even have a conversation with him or anything like that. So, we ended up talking, and he actually gave me, like, a really nice compliment at one point. He was like, you're piloting this deck admirably, and I made me, like, so happy. I was like trying my best to I didn't even say anything. I just like blushed and I was just like, I'm gonna continue playing my Magic cards. He was playing Splinter Twin and he ended up winning, and which was like fine. I was like, I got like beat by Kevin Jones. Like, it's totally okay. So it was fine. So we ended up talking like afterwards. We were talking about like Twin and stuff, and I was telling him like that I'm building Grixis Control, and like, you know, we were talking and everything, and he's a really, really nice guy. So we got into like a really cool conversation, and I was like, this is really, really cool. So that was awesome. That was like one of the like the coolest things that happened. So that was really, really sweet. And getting like a compliment like that from like that was like really, really nice. And also like given I did misplay like at one point, which pretty much cost me the game, but that's okay. It happens. So that happens. So then round four, I played against Zoo, yes. Okay, so funny is, so turn one, he's like Wild Mikado, and I'm like, great, I'm playing against Naya Burn. I have a fantastic Burn matchup. This is great. And then it was like other things that were not Burn, and I was like, I am not playing against Burn right now. I am playing against Zoo. Okay, this matchup changes. But I ended up winning that. I lived the dream, guys. I Coco double Shaman. It was great. Great. That's all I want to do in life. All I want to do in life. So I did that. And the fifth round I played against Suicide Zoo, and I'm playing against the guy, and I don't even remember what he played on turn one. Oh my gosh, what did he play? That was, I don't even remember, but it's that one really interesting card where it's the 1-drop 13/13. It gets -X, where X is your life total, and I was like, huh, it's really interesting. And like the thing is that like, it's a good deck, Suicide Zoo, but the problem is that, like, if you're running against elves and you're all just, like, Shaman of the Pact, bro, you lose 8 life. They're just like, oh, yeah. So that's been, like, one of my biggest issues, I think, as well as, like, with Jund. Like, I know a lot of, like, Jund is one of the most popular decks. I feel like Jund just does too much damage to themselves, and I understand that it's, like, a top deck, but, like, it's just not something that I would play. So that ends up happening, and then I ended up playing against, someone who had... Oh my goodness, what deck did he have? Oh my gosh, not Living End. What? Scape Shift. No, not Scape Shift. Why did I just say Scape Shift? Life from the Loam. The deck name is totally slipping me right now, but it's like a Life from the Loam deck. It runs like Molten Vortex and things like that, and you know, just burn out your opponent basically, and you make zombie tokens with this card that I can't think of the name of. It's like you discard 2 cards, you get a 2/2 zombie onto the field. And, by the way, Relic of Progenitist. Saved my butt. Really pretty okay magic cards, so that helps out a lot. So, yeah, so that was pretty much Modern Night. I had so much fun, and then the owner of the store, like, was like, oh, Tracy, what are you playing now? I was like, oh, I'm playing Elves, and he's like, wait, you were the person with that Bloom Titan deck who didn't run Hive Mind, right? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I ran Tooth and Nail Xenagos, Primeval Titan. He's like, you're an artist. He's so happy. I was like, I'm awful at this game, thank you. So that was really nice. Overall, it was a great night. Like, I had so much fun, and like, it was just a really, really nice, like, comfortable environment, and I really like that. I like card stores that can have like that sort of chill environment that you go into, and you know, it was just really, really cool. So I had a really good night. So I went 3-2, which wasn't too terrible. In my eyes, it was 2-2 because I don't really count the bye, so that was fine. I mean, like I said, I'm not sticking to Elves forever, and I know that. I did have a lot of fun though, and I was actually like, maybe I shouldn't take this deck apart, but it's alright. Paul's getting it off of me, and he's gonna get me cards that I'm building for Grixis, so it's totally fine. So let's segue into talking about Grixis Control. So, here's the deal with this deck. I was in a conversation last night with Kevin Joes, actually. We were talking about Grixis Control a little bit, and I was all like, he's like, oh, what type of deck are you building? And I was like, it's kind of inspired by Shapen's list. I was like, but you know, I'm not doing Cryptic Command. And he was like, okay, so we were talking about it, and then I was thinking about it, because it was so funny. It's like, I'm trading cards with my friend, my friend Lee, because I'm getting one of the new Jace, I'm getting a new Jace, and he was like, oh, aren't you doing Inquisition? Because I have Inquisitions and Thoughtseize in my mind. I was like, no, Grixis Control doesn't run that. And then I was like, wait, there's variations of this deck that do run that, instead of running counterspells. And then I was like, oh, I'll just do a balance. I'll do counterspells and, you know, hand disruption. And then I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to do one or the other. So I was thinking about it. What do I feel comfortable with? I feel very comfortable with hand disruption spells. I really like hand disruption spells a lot. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna run cards like that. So what I did is I changed up the theme of the deck, basically. It's not running any counter spells at all, actually. It's just running, like, it's more like creature based, and the thing is that this is still tentative. Like, I'm gonna link the deck list down below if you want to check it out, but it's not 100% in, like, it's not staying 100% as it is. Like, I'm playtesting the deck, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing some grinding later and just playtesting the deck out a ton and just figuring out what works and what doesn't. There's a couple cards that I'm really unsure about. Like I said, I'll list the deck below, and I'm going to do, like, a full deck here, but I'm going to talk about a couple things. Lands I gotta still play with, because the thing about lands is that it totally depends on what else is going on, but I am running more basics, and I did say this in another one of my videos, simply because I want to do Blood Moon in the sideboard, and, like, I'm not sure though. I may do Blood Moon, but at the same time, I kind of like Fulminator Mage a lot because I think that Fulminator Mage works really, really well in this deck, so I think I'm going to do Fulminator Mage instead. And I was thinking of Molten Rain as well. It's more of like a burn-like type deck, which I know I said I wasn't really interested in burn, but it has more elements of like aggressive elements with the creatures, which I really like. So a couple of things that I'm doing. I'm only doing 1 Jace for now. I want to see how it works. I want to see how it plays out. I have seen decks with 4 in it. I don't like that. I don't know if it's good, but I don't like 4 Jace at all. I just think, I don't really like it, so I don't want to do that. I'm actually doing mainboard Keranos because I like Keranos a lot, and I know a lot of the other decks will run things that are like higher mana cost, like Cryptic Command, which is 4, and I needed something else that was like big, and I was like, I want a mainboard Keranos. It's like a lightning bolt on a stick. It seems really good, and potentially it can become a creature. Probably not, but it could become a creature, and I think that's super cool. So that was really cool. I'm also doing, I call them Mom and Dad, or Mom and Pop, Chandra's parents. So I'm gonna try that out and see how that works. I just think this card's absolutely fantastic with Culligan's Command. Oh my gosh, this card is super good. So I'm really excited about that. 4 Snapcaster Mages, I mean, you're running 4 Snapcaster Mages, it's just happening. 2 Taskers because, yeah, Tasker's cool. I'm doing Inquisitions, and I'm doing Rise and Fall. And I was like, oh, why would I be doing this card? And I actually remember Anthony Lowry's list of Grixis Control. He was running Rise then Fall, and someone asked him about it, and they were like, oh, why are you running this? Rise then Fall with Jace. Oh my gosh, so good. Super good. Oh, I want to do it. So amazing. Yeah, 4 Serum Visions. Then the instances where it gets a little interesting, it's running like 2 Electrolyzes because I like Electrolyze a lot. I found this card to be really, really helpful. 4 Culligan's Command, this card's absolutely fantastic. I can't even say enough good things about it. Bolts, Terminates, Thought Scours. I'm mainboarding an Ashiok because I really want to run Ashiok. Like, I know so many people run Liliana the Veil, and like, I really want to run Ashiok. Like, I just think it's super good. I don't want to say like Ashiok is like, I don't want to say like Liliana is better because they're 2 completely different planeswalkers and they're doing different things. But I don't know. I'm gonna try it with Ashiok. I may potentially switch over to Liliana the Veil at some point, but I really like the addition of Ashiok. I think it's a very underrated planeswalker in my opinion. So I was actually reading this list by Anthony Lowry actually last night, and it said like it was like 5 modern cards that you won't expect to see that will end up killing you, or like something like that, and Ashiok was actually on that list. So I think that it's very underrated, and I think that it needs to be getting way more attention than it actually is. I think it's because Liliana the Veil is dominating still so much in like Jund lists and things like that, that I think that not a lot of people are paying attention to Planeswalker, but I think it's sweet. So yeah, sideboard is 100% not done at all, so I'm gonna look at sideboard. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, the deck is really cool. I don't know. There's a couple things that I'm still unsure about. Like, I'm running Grim Lavamancer in the main, which I think I may take out. I'm not really sure, though, what I'm going to do with that. I like Grim Lavamancer in this deck because it's more of, like, a graveyard-themed deck, so I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see about that. And like I said, I think I feel way more comfortable with, I just think I feel more comfortable with, like, removal spells and hand disruption spells rather than counter spells. I also think, too, that a card like Remand is good. But the fact is, with Remand, is that, yeah, you get to draw a card, and that's super great, but the fact that Remand, it goes back to their hand, and if you're playing against a deck where they just generate, like, so much mana or whatever, like, you're playing against Tron, or you're playing against, like elves, something like that just generates so much mana, they just don't even care. They're just like, yep, cool, you bounce back my thing. Given you get to draw a card off of it, which is really good, but I was like, that's what the Electrolyzes are for. Electrolyze is so good, by the way. Can we talk about this Magic card? The card is so fantastic. Like, I've seen it in a couple lists, bouncing between 1 and 2. I'm gonna try 2 because I have an empty slot in the deck, and I think it's really, really good. And Terminate is fantastic, and it's super sweet. I think the deck is really cool, and you know, like I said, I'm still in the process of, like, playtesting it, so, like, I don't know, some numbers are gonna change. Like, there's some things that I just know are gonna be, you know, good staples on here, but others I'm not really sure about, so we'll kind of figure it out and see what the deck, you know, works from there. Like I said, it'll be listed down below if you want to check it out. It's still up in the air that, you know, nothing is really, like, permanently, like, staying, you know, a lot of things are just kind of there. We'll see. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. I think that was all of the things that I wanted to say. I'm helping out someone right now. They're doing a black-white tokens list. The first word is, are there any, like, black-white tokens fans out there? And I was like, yeah, add me a black-white token. So we were talking about the deck a little bit, and I was helping him out with his build, and, that was pretty cool, so, yeah. I think it's really interesting, like, a lot of people are in black-white tokens are actually doing, like, the new Gideon, which is really sweet. But my whole thing is, like, your 4-drop slot is saved for Soren Solemn Visitor and potentially Hero of the Bladehold if you're doing that, so, I don't know. It's just pretty okay. Alright, guys. That was all I wanted to see in this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!